YouTube, what's going on? My first video, introduction video. Guys, I should have been done this a long time ago, but we're here now, and I'm glad to be able to, for you guys to be able to get closer to me, know me more as a person, and really understand why I do what I do, you feel me? But guys, as you guys may know, I'm an online fitness coach. My name is Torano. I live in South Florida. I'm 21 years old, and I'm gonna, just talk to you guys a little bit about myself and, what I do, why I do what I do, and yeah. First YouTube videos, guys, so bear with me if I feel like I'm not talking the right way, or or if I'm not, if I'm fucking getting stuck on my words. But let's get straight into it, guys. So I'm gonna give you a little background about myself, guys. Basically, before I started getting into fitness, I was actually a basketball player, right? I used to love to hoop. Hooping was my main passion. I did it for many years. I started playing organized basketball 4th grade, and then I went all the way to, you can say, sophomore year, because I did make the team 11th grade year, but that's the year that I stopped playing, and before the season even started, that's when I had quit. So, the reason I found love through basketball is because actually my dad, he was a professional basketball player in Cuba. So my dad I grew up watching my dad. He was in the LA runs, the YMCA runs. So, I was always around that atmosphere, right? And eventually, obviously, as I saw it more and more growing up, I started developing that love for it, right? So I started hooping 4th grade, and a lot of the things that I learned from basketball are a lot of the similar things I learned from fitness. As far as like the discipline, the consistency, pushing yourself when you don't feel like it, going when you don't feel like it, all those things, is the same things I've learned from fitness as well. And, the whole reason I stopped playing, guys, was because my sophomore year, I had a good season. And, I had gotten complacent, right? I started getting comfortable. I stopped putting in the work as much that summer. And, I just got comfortable. That's literally how it is. And however, during those times where, I wasn't really pooping, I wasn't really practicing that on becoming a better basketball player, that was all during the times that, quarantine was happening. So, I was in school still during that time, and we had gotten let off. So I took it as like the perfect opportunity to start working on my body, just building healthier habits with my physique, because I was still active during basketball, but I never really worked on the aesthetic part, right? I was always like a skinny fat build. I used to be a lot fatter before, but through basketball I started getting slimmer, and yeah. But I wanted to start really prioritizing aesthetics, right? And I was doing a lot of in-home workouts during those times, from like March all the way up to, I'd say, early November, right? And in early November, that's when so before November, I had basketball tryouts, right? I had made the team, but I saw that everyone else was on a different level. I didn't have the confidence that I did before because of how I got complacent. I felt like everyone passed me up, and I knew that I wasn't really going to see the floor during that season, right? And you guys probably are looking at me right now and like, this fucking scrub, but whatever, fuck you guys. Yeah, so that's pretty much why I ended up quitting basketball, is because I came to the realization that basketball is not going to be something that was long term. I wasn't gonna go to school for it. I wasn't gonna gain no money out of it. It wasn't gonna be my career. So I just said fuck it, right? So I quit, and I was like realizing, I was like, damn, bro, like this was something that was my whole life. Now I just let it go. So I was sad about it. I felt purposeless, and I was like, now I have to transition over into something else, because me being active pretty much my whole life, I knew that I couldn't be complacent. I knew that I couldn't be lazy and just be sitting around all day. So that's when I started really prioritizing the gym or prioritizing, fitness. And like I told you guys, I was during those times I was just doing in-home workouts. But like I told you, November is when I got my first membership, right? I got my first membership to the gym, and it was LA Fitness, right? And during those times, I had a gym partner. His name was Giancarlo, and a lot of you guys may know him as Swolini on Instagram, and that's my dog, bro, my brother. He actually helped me and guided me throughout my whole weightlifting journey, and he taught me actually how to lift, because when I was doing those in-home workouts, it mostly consisted of just push-ups, sit-ups. Like I had some dumbbells, and I was just doing arms with them. I never really knew how to hit back. I never really knew how to hit legs properly, and he was able to teach me all those things, right? And I'm very thankful for him, because he saved me a lot of time, right? Because if I would have just gone to the gym without him, I know that I would have been struggling to know what exactly to do, what exact workouts to do. And, he saved me a lot of that time. He had like a year experience over me. So, he was able to actually teach me a lot of the things that he knew during that year. So, we were lifting. He was my gym partner for a while. He still is, actually, but, he taught me a lot. And every single day, every single week, every single month, I started seeing the results, right? I started seeing the progress that I was making. I was falling more and more in love with the process. And like everything else, guys, like there's a lot of people when they find a love in a hobby, at first they don't like to do it, right? But as you start seeing the results and you start staying consistent, you start seeing that longer vision, and you sticking with it, and you're seeing those results, like I said, you fall in love with the process. And that's exactly what happened to me. I started falling in love with fitness more and more every single day, and I developed a very strong passion for it. Fast forward to my senior year, I go back to school after 2021, because during those times it was virtual. School was virtual still. And 2022, my senior year comes around, and I feel like that dude, because I'm already a year in, just about close to a year in working out, weightlifting. So I made a lot of progress. I went through a whole body composition. I gained muscle, lost fat, and I felt like that dude. I came back to school, everyone was like, damn, that boy big. When that boy got big like that? And I was like, shit, just chill. But it made me feel really good. And, that was like my motive to keep on going, to keep on pushing, because everyone saw the results. And I was like, damn, bro, everyone's seeing the results. I got to keep on pushing, bro. Like, this is just more motivation. And people are starting to realize the work that I'm putting in. So why stop now? You feel me? So, fast forward a few months into my senior year, and I get a job at LA Fitness, right? I start working front desk at first, and then I transition over into personal training. And it was a cool experience. I really liked it. Good experience to get. And I like to train people. It was a really good experience, and there's a lot of things that I learned from it, for sure, on how to train people, how to understand certain people's body types, and how to help certain people, like all types of people, old people, young people, people with all different types of goals. I learned a lot during those times. I had to leave that job because I had a lot of things going on with school. I wasn't really the best academic person at all. I was actually very bad at school. I never really liked school. I hated school. I barely graduated high school. So I graduated with like a 2.1. So I was like, so I had to quit. My mom made me quit my job so I can focus all on school. And then, so I didn't have a job until after I graduated high school. And I barely graduated high school, so I had to leave the job because I had to focus on recovering my grades, because I had like freaking D's and F's all senior year. So if I didn't get them up before my graduation, I wouldn't stayed back. But I focused on that, and then just a few months after my graduation, I got another job at GNC, right? So I got a job at GNC, and I started learning about the supplements. I started learning what each supplement, what each vitamin does to the human body. And I started getting a lot of more knowledge on certain things. And like I said, guys, I started, like, fitness is something that I love to do. So I always, if I had a job, I always want to be around that field, like be in that field. So that's why I got a job at GNC. And I got a job at GNC, and it was a cool experience, 100%. However, you know, I had such a shitty manager. He pissed me off so bad. So I ended up leaving that. I got into door-to-door sales, right? Canvassing. If you guys don't know what that is, pretty much I get dropped off in certain neighborhoods and I go door to door trying to sell something. And what I was selling during those times was hurricane impact windows and doors. I was selling hurricane impact windows and doors, and the job was cool as fuck, bro. Like, I actually liked the job because I was working with one of my closest friends, and his name is Hugo. And you know, I had a lot of fun working there because it was like a job where no one was really on your ass. Like, you had no managers on your ass, which is something that I like because I never was the type of person to be told, or I like to be told what to do, bro. You know, like, kind of like, I just never was that type of person. So it was a cool job because no one was really on your ass. And at the same time, I was learning a lot of sales skills. I was learning, I was getting out of my comfort zone, learning how to talk to people, learning how to sell. And I feel like learning in that field was great because, you know, think about it. Someone comes to your door, who the fuck wants to get sold in their door, you know? And I wasn't really necessarily selling, but I was setting appointments. So, you know, no one wants to get appointments set. They don't want to get sold at their door whatsoever. So it was a very good experience, you know. And I never was the type of person before that to, you know, I was kind of antisocial, right? I was pretty introverted. I didn't really like to express myself. I didn't really talk that much. I was very socially shy. So that helped me get out of my comfort zone in that aspect. So I'm very grateful that I went through that experience. However, after that experience, I started getting tired of, you know, walking in the sun all fucking day because I do live in South Florida, and you know, it was hot as shit. You know, walking in the sun all day, door to door, and sometimes it took over 50 doors just to get one yes from a homeowner. So I started getting overwhelming. I started to realize, like, I didn't want to do this. You know, I never saw myself doing this long term. I always saw a vision in myself to be a coach, right? And I knew that that's what I wanted to do because I have such a strong passion for, you know, for training and just supplements and, you know, nutrition. I had a strong passion for all these things. So I realized, I always knew in the back of my head that I was going to do something revolving that. So what I went and did is I hired a mentor, right? I hired a mentor to help me, you know, start out my online fitness business, and he helped me with my ads, and he helped me kickstart my business, right? And I remember when I first hired him, I was like, fuck, bro, like, what did I just do, bro? Like, I was telling all my closest peers, I was like, fuck, bro, like, I'm worried, like, this and that. And, you know, I came to the realization, bro, like, I'm young, bro. Why not? Let's just try it out, see what happens. You know, if I fuck up, I fuck up. But, you know, right now, while I'm young, is the perfect time for me to be able to take those risks. So I sended it. I paid him money and I sent it him. I was like, fuck it. So, you know, fast forward a few days, he's helping me kickstart, you know, setting everything up, setting my profile up, optimizing my profile. And within my first few days, like literally 5 days, I got my first client. 3 months, and I was so happy, bro. I was so happy. And I forgot to mention to you guys, I have a very close friend. His name is Knight. While I was working on sales, door-to-door canvassing, I saw him doing this, and he had a strong passion for it as well. And before I had all these jobs, guys, I forgot to mention that I actually tried and I paid for a mentorship. But during those times, during that mentorship, I never really fully committed to it, and I didn't really I kind of like doubted myself. I didn't really believe in myself, and I just didn't go through with the mentorship. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. But I saw my boy, he ended up hiring someone just like how I did, and he started fucking going crazy, bro. He started going crazy. And you know when you have that close friend, bro, someone that you've known for a minute and that you kind of grew up with, and you see them doing something that you want to do, and you see them achieve it, and you know how the person is, bro. You know how your close friends are. So when I saw that, when I saw my boy doing it, I was like, it gave me all the confidence, all the hope in the world that I can do it too. So shout out to my boy Knight, bro. Much love to you, bro. He's the one that inspired me and really pushed me to start my fitness business. And that's exactly what happened, He told me, he was like, yo, hire this person right here. I hired him. He kickstarted my business. He optimized my profile the way it needed to be for me to be able to attract clients and market myself. And within my first month, I got over 9 clients. And I was able to actually quit my 9-to-5 job. And here we are now, guys. Fast forward 6 months now. I started February, and we're here now. And I'm very grateful to be in the position that I am now. I'm still a fairly new business owner, but I am learning every single day. I'm continuing to be better every single day. And I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am now, to be able to change lives, to do what I love to do, develop mindsets, habits, and all those things, man. So I'm very fortunate to be here. And the whole reason I wanted to do this, I always knew I wanted to do this, is because I know there's a lot of people out there who feel purposeless, who feel like their circle, a lot of people, they may think that the people around them don't have a lifestyle that they see themselves in, and it's hard for them to be able to break out of that, because that's all they know. That's all they know. So I'm inspired to be able to help people like that and be able to change someone's life in that aspect, and their physique and their mindset and all those things. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's just my story, why I do what I do, and what I've been through in the last few years. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll keep continuing to make videos like this, and you guys stay tuned, subscribe, like the video, and it's up from here, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Let's go.